I guess it's very easy to fall into the trap of, with the utmost respect, thinking you know best. Your website should be mobile friendly. And if it isn't, that is absolutely, from an SEO perspective, absolutely something that you should get on board with. Again, so not all conversions have to have a monetary value attributed to them. So it could be an increase in the quality of leads.
All right, so let's start with the most basic question. What is CRO?
Well, CRO, conversion rate optimization, for anyone who doesn't know. I like to think there is an art form and a science to it. It is used to increase a desired action on your website that users will undertake. Let's say, in its simplest form, you want a purchase to be made. So CRO's process, it will be to get them to do more of that. But it doesn't have to be something as like a direct purchase. It can be signing up to a newsletter, clicking a button, filling in a form. That can also be a CRO. It can increase leads. Doesn't necessarily have to be or have a monetary value attributed to it.
All right, brilliant. How do you calculate your conversion rate to begin with?
If you don't have software to do it, you can do it yourself quite easily. You do it with the number of conversions that you currently have divided by the number of users that you have, and then you times that by 100, and that will give you your conversion rate percentage.
So how does CRO work?
CRO, at least the way we implement it, it should start with a discovery process. This will be an in-depth website and customer analysis, followed then by website experimentation, which will be planning of the tests, hypotheses from the analysis. The analysis, I cannot stress how important the analysis in the discovery process, how important that is. So back to website experimentation. You set up a test plan, and then implement those tests, begin running them. Followed then by the analysis once those tests have run, and then refinement. And ideally, with CRO, you repeat, you continue the refinement. It's not a one and done situation.
All right, brilliant. Does CRO differ for scientific websites compared to other industries?
Very CRO answer, I guess. It depends. Not particularly in its barest of forms, I guess. No, you are attempting to increase conversions, be it however those conversions are, like I said, monetary or not. The aim of it is to increase them. So in the barest of forms, no, it doesn't differ.
Okay. And what are the key conversion points we should focus on optimizing within our scientific websites or marketing funnel?
Again, this will go back to discovery. It's the customer journey, improving the UX and the UI of your website. You want to remove any friction out of the way of, obviously, the goal, be it we want someone to sign up for a newsletter, so you shouldn't hide where the sign-up form is or have them do more than 3 or 4 clicks. If you're having them change pages or whichever, you want that to be as simple, as straight to the point as possible. So you really, really need to have a customer-first focus to implement it.
All right, great. Should we only focus on transactional conversions, or is it good to have a mix? Should we focus on any other type of submission or conversion in our website?
Again, very SEO. It depends. It really does depend on what your site is or how your site is set up. Is it an e-commerce site? If it is, yes, absolutely. You want a transactional focus. If it isn't, if it is lead gen, then no, you're going to want to obviously engage more, have the users engage more with signing up for newsletters or filling in their details, things like that. I know it's very SEO, but it depends.
Of course. So going back to the points that we should focus on when we're working on CRO. So how can we identify and prioritize these conversion points effectively? Also, how can we improve the overall user experience on our website?
Discovery. It's such a huge, it's so important. I guess it's very easy to fall into the trap of, with the utmost respect, thinking you know best, because you aren't the user. You know your site, your products inside out. The user doesn't. So although you may think something is very easy, well, I know where it is. It's just here. That doesn't translate as a user. So it's difficult, but you have to remove yourself from it. I think there is a term there, HIPPO, the highest paid person's opinion, which in most cases it's the CEO or something like that. And I know that's quite an intimidating thing to sort of knock back, but that you don't always have the right opinion, highest person in the room or not. You really, really need to do discovery and see what the data says, see what your users are telling you. There are numerous ways you can do that. I know that there's free software. I believe Hotjar. They have a free plan that allows you to do screen recordings, heat maps, scroll maps. But the screen recordings, they're vital. They will show you. Well, obviously on the free plan, there is limitations to it. It will show you your sticking points or the sticking points that your users are facing. And that is how you can then build up a test plan and move forward with CRO.
Brilliant. So you've mentioned a couple of tools there. So what other data sources and analytics tools should we utilize to gather insights about this user behavior and all these pain points?
I can't speak for others because I at the moment only use analytics. So there's obviously GA4, Search Console. You'll want to use them obviously for the data gathered. Most, if not all, CRO platforms, they will integrate with that, and obviously that's you'll need that to track your conversions. There are things, obviously, Optimize. Unfortunately, with Sunset, which was a free A/B testing platform. There are, I believe that, well, it depends on the budget. Obviously, there are enterprise level, which all the bells and whistles, and then there are platforms that are a lot more affordable, which will offer A/B testing as well as screen recording capabilities.
So once we have this data analysis platforms and tools, how can then we interpret the data? What KPI should we be looking into?
So analysis, once you have let your tests run, and it is important to let your tests run. I know how easy it is to get excited when you test first goes live and you can see, let's say you're doing an A/B test and your variation that you think will, not you think, that you've obviously hypothesized going through all your data that will perform well. Let's say that people start clicking on when they get that variation, they start performing the conversion. It is difficult to just let it lie. It may perform well in the beginning, but after a month of running, you could find that, hey, actually, no, the variation that you thought would perform better hasn't or isn't. You very much have to be ready to be wrong and then adapt in those situations, not in the sense of wrong, like you've done the test incorrectly, but it could be that the wording needs to be tweaked and you have to be able to be were you comfortable saying that, yeah, this variation didn't work, but obviously with a CRO, it is a continual process. So you refine it and be ready to obviously run that test or a similar test, but with different outcomes, hopefully.
Right, brilliant. You've shared fair bits of advice there, but is there any other bits and pieces or best practices that you want to share just for conducting the test and optimize the results?
Yeah. So discovery process, you want to obviously done a customer and website analysis and come up with hypotheses based on those analysis, not based on your own interactions with a site. Then you want to have a test plan. This test plan will allow for you to see like the impact on the business. Do we need dev to be involved? Is this something that you can implement on your own? Do you need marketing to be involved in case it requires different wording on a page, for example? Once the test plan is done and the tests are implemented, obviously record your results, let the tests run, and don't jump to any conclusions too early. It's really important to let the tests run their full course.
How long do you recommend to be running these tests for?
I do dislike that it's a SEO answer, but it really does depend. It depends on how much traffic your site has, what is your current conversion rate. That will depend on how long. Obviously, a site that has 1 million monthly visitors, they're going to be able to run tests, not necessarily more quickly, but bigger tests than a site that only has 10 monthly visitors. That test would take a lot longer to run. But it depends. Such an SEO answer.
Are we talking weeks, months?
Ideally, I like to have a test run minimum for a month. That gives a good time frame. But obviously, a month with, let's say, only 10 monthly users, that might not be long enough. It depends.
All right. Are there any other specific considerations or challenges to keep in mind with the scientific industry specifically?
No, they should be any sort of challenges, I guess, that could crop up. They should be discovered in the discovery process, and then accounted for to begin with before any sort of tests are run. Obviously, running a test for a scientific website would be completely different to running a test for a fashion brand website, but those complexities, they would be discovered in the discovery phase and then accounted for.
So with the increasing use of mobile devices, how important is mobile conversion rate optimization?
So your website should be mobile friendly, and if it isn't, that is absolutely from an SEO perspective, absolutely something that you should get on board with. Your rankings, general rankings, will go down because of a poor website optimization. So that should be done regardless of CRO. Just as an SEO practice, that should be done. However, the tests performed on the website, if implemented correctly, should also then fall into the mobile app. I do know, as much as I am not versed in it, that there is optimization for apps and the App Store optimization, which would follow the same thought pattern and process as the one that I've just described earlier. But yeah, not even taking into account, because I know that there are people that won't have focused on the mobile optimization, but that really should. It's so important, especially with all the updates that Google keeps bringing out. It's really important to make sure that your mobile version of your website is as optimized as your desktop version.
All right, brilliant. Are there any ethical considerations or privacy concerns we should be aware of when implementing personalization strategies?
So dependent on, let's say, if you use what you see is what you get software, which Optimize was, possibly Optimizely is. I currently use PageSense from Zoho. That is what you see is what you get software. So you should be able to, you'll have the option on your website to implement a cookie. And in that cookie, it will just inform the users that tests are being run, and the data will be recorded to then implement updates on the site. So it is important that that should be included. I do think there are some softwares that will allow you just to go ahead with the optimization regardless, but I would not recommend that at all, especially in the EU with the GDPR. I would always recommend that you disclose that you are performing tests.
Finally, how should we define and measure success? What key performance indicators should we track?
So an increase in conversions, hopefully, or again, so not all conversions have to have a monetary value attributed to them. So it could be an increase in the quality of leads. It doesn't necessarily have to be monetary, but in this day and age, money makes the world go round. So normally, more often than not, sales. We want to increase sales. That's why it's done. To define it and measure KPIs, I would say an increase in CRO in conversions is what we're looking for.
All right, brilliant. Any other closing thoughts or summarizing?
I guess a recap. Conversions can be a purchase, but doesn't always have to be. It can be something like a newsletter sign up. CRO campaigns should always start with discovery. It's where the qualitative and quantitative data is collected, and then obviously that is where you can build your hypotheses. It should be done. CRO shouldn't be a singular person. You need input from your team. So obviously it should be including marketing. It should include dev to assist and talk through how long tests can be run for, depending on the complexity of those tests. Small increases in conversion rates, although it may look like a minute digit going up, that can lead to large increases in revenue and conversions going forward. And I realize I've hopped on about it a lot, but discovery is very, very important, both qualitative and quantitative. It's really... Don't skip it. Just listen to what your users are telling you, but go in with a customer first focus and not a brand first, because it's the customer CRO is all about a customer's wants and needs. So put them first and listen to them. If they are kind enough to participate in discovery, listen to them.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much for your time and expertise, Taryn.
Thank you so much.